We still don't know Spider-Man's blood type, so I'm waiting for Marvel to let me know. Why be easy when you can just die? Wow, I'm Chewy Mew. Welcome to my channel. Well, more specifically, welcome to another Chewy Mew video, where today is October 29th, and it is the birthday of yet another Sailor Moon character, and this time it is Sailor Pluto. Oops, so here she is. I have to mention the obligatory blood type. We still don't know Spider-Man's blood type, so I'm waiting for Marvel to let me know what Spider-Man's blood type is. So according to this website here, there's multiple websites that say it. Her blood type, her name is Sailor Pluto here. Her blood type is A. She is 5'10", so she's the tallest of the Sailor Senshi. Venus is 5'2". You can see the height difference. There's a pretty big height difference here, so which is pretty accurate to the show. She is the tallest of the main characters. Tuxedo Mask is taller, but he's a dude, so that's cheating. Yeah, it says here she's 5'10", and her birthday is October 29th. She's happy in the show, but most of the time she's kind of just alone because her job is to guard the obligatory space or time travel door, as most shows have. Because she controls time, so she's left in charge of control whether or not people can time travel or not, and so she's alone because no one else is really there. So her hair thing unfortunately broke, or her bun here broke. It did have a ball joint, which honestly only did this. It didn't really do much. And so I used one of my strategies to drill a hole in the head and then stick this little, it's part of a paintbrush, stick it in here and then make a hole on the bun so I can stick it through here. I tried painting it and the paint just rubs off so easily because it kind of scratches it. And so the hair movement, if I want to have her hair bend around, I kind of just hook it like this and then rotate it. Then it kind of does work. Her hair's heavy, so her neck kind of flops down a bit. You can see here, it says Sailor Pluto with like a P-looking logo. I think these are symbols for something, I don't know, something related to astrology, I think. And here is Sailor Venus's base. I'm using Sailor Venus because there's something I want to bring up about her hair later on. And looking at these now, they have the same base, like it's the same color, it's the same design. This one says Venus, this one says Pluto, and then their logo. So the dude, which I never noticed that before until now, but it's okay. And also, she also has her staff, which she was holding. This part is slowly breaking, slowly coming off here, so I'm not going to mess with that too much. It's a very nice staff. This metallic blue kind of color. Looks really cool with like these little balls on it, which they also, that's how it looks in the show and in the manga, but also, they also help so the figure's hands don't slide around on this. Like if they hold it, her hand's going to stay between here, so it's not going to like move around, which also, as you saw, holding the weapon, her hand does not slide on it, so that's really good. It doesn't wiggle around. It's not loose, doesn't fall out. And also one thing you can do, you can actually separate them, so you can slide them off, so you don't have to like pry the fingers open. You could just slide the hand on like this, then clip the little piece here, and I think there's 3 points, or I think there might be 2. So yeah, there's this point, then there's another one right here that you can take it off. Also, this part comes off here as well, and she holds this. I think this is like a time travel thing, or I think she's able to briefly stop time using that power up, using that power thing. There's some image of her on the side of the box. I don't know why in the picture she looks extremely bright, like washed out here. Like this image looks closer to the figure, but like they took a picture with like such a bright light that it makes everything look super pale. But yeah, like look how pale everything looks on the images here. And really nice box, really pretty looking like detail and stuff back here. You can see the logo and her doing like an attack. You get some alternate faces, and you get to see her holding the like heart-shaped, like the end of her staff. I looked it up and it's called the Garnet Rod. You know, I'm way too lazy to put this stuff in post, so I'm just showing it here. But yeah, it's called the Garnet Rod, which it's time travel related powers. So she's one of those characters that she can control time, sort of, but she's not allowed to because basically plot, and also I think it kills her if she uses time stuff. And also this is cool here, little backdrop thing. I guess you could use it for like pictures and stuff, put it behind her there, I guess. I never really use this. It kind of just, basically for me, it just is behind the package like this, which I think it's cool they give you this. I don't know what the utility of this is supposed to be, or if it's just like a decoration. See here, it says $45.95. I actually didn't pay this much. This was, I bought this on eBay. It was used. It was already opened and stuff, and they didn't break the hair bun. That was me that broke it because I was being a dingus. And yeah, so I paid like 20-ish, like around $20, which I don't know why they sold it so cheap. Maybe they didn't like it or something, I don't know. 4 facial expressions with her, which to be honest, they're not bad faces. They're just I don't know, to me they're a little bit boring here. So here, you get this hand tray, which earlier figures like Sailor Moon, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, they don't have this little plastic tray to hook the hands to. If you drop that, the hands stay in place. And so you do also get this other hand, which this hand allows her to hold I don't know what the name of that is, like the top of her weapon there. As far as the face is here, you get this face looks pretty similar to the one she has here, but if you look at it, you can see the one on her face, or on her head right now, has a slight smile. We zoom in here. She doesn't have a smile. She has like a neutral face where this one has a slight smile. I like using this one, but honestly, I could have either of these two on display. Like from over here, you can't really tell too much which one's which. So it's kind of pointless to me, honestly, having those ones. I mean, like if you're looking at the figure this close up, you probably will notice. But if there's on my shelf, I don't really see it. So... And then she also has the closed eyes face for doing like focusing on an attack kind of face. Then she has this the angry yelling face, which is like the combat or attack face. Look at Venus. Her mouth is not sculpted. It's sculpted, but it's kind of more sticking out. Like it's not concave. Like her mouth is. You can see the gap. Like her mouth has a hole in it, which looks cool. Looks a little bit. I like that it looks like it has depth to it. Like it looks like a mouth open. It doesn't just look like a painted on, slightly sculpted mouth. It's actually inwards, which that looks really cool. I think that looks really cool there. Get a bunch of hands here as well. You get fist hands. You get basically two sets of resting hands. You get these resting hands that are more straight out. Then you get these slightly, basically the way the fingers are shaped. Like this one, her index and middle finger are kind of curved out. Whereas on this other hand, you can see, I mean, you can see how similar these hands are. I don't know why they basically give you hands that are very slightly different. Honestly, if they give one pair, it would be okay. I mean, I don't know why they gave her, one of the tallest characters, a shorter base, because you can't really have her in midair. Like, if you hook this to her, it, like you have it on the ground here, you can see it doesn't really lift her up. It basically holds her in place, but it doesn't, like the other characters, you can have them suspended, because, like, Sailor Moon's is, like, a little bit taller like this compared to her, so if you hook it to her, she's a little bit higher up off the ground, because this hand here has a hole on it. You can remove this. Plop it on here, and then she's holding this thing, which that looks really cool. I usually never have her displayed with this because I'm afraid, like, what if I drop the figure and this part comes off? Here's the figure, and I do think, unlike the other characters, I wouldn't classify her as cute. I would say, like Venus here, look how cute she looks. Really cute looking face, cute hair and stuff. Where I would say Pluto is kind of more on the pretty side, which I think she looks pretty. Very cool facial expression there. You can see the ever so slightest amount of lipstick there. A little bit pinkish, whereas the other Sailor Moon characters, they don't really have lipstick. See, like the super red metallic oranges, and like the little medallion here on her bow, and then that little thing on her necklace there, which also, if you look here, the necklace and this, the jewel thing are not connected. You can see they're not stuck together. Like, Venus doesn't have that problem because she doesn't have anything hanging from her necklace, but it's kind of weird how they're not connected. There should be, like, an extra piece of sculpt hooking the two together. I don't know, like, from a distance, it doesn't, like, look at it, like, from this, you don't really see it, but if you're, like, up close like this, like, super close to your face, or close to the camera, like, there's, like, this much space in between her and the camera, so it's a little bit weird how they didn't do that. If you take this off here, you can see the bangs also have some nice shading and wash to it, too, and you can see the tiara there as well. Super metallic gold, which makes it look pretty real. A little bead or medallion thing on her forehead there. I like this color green. My favorite color is green, and I like the more kind of lime green, but I think this one looks really cool green. You can see here on her hair, a bunch of wash and stuff going on here. There's like a main green part here and little green streaks here and there, and then mostly this dark green. There's like dark green at the top, and then when you get to the tips of her hair here, or the ends of her hair, they're a much darker color. These hair are actually kind of spiky a little bit, which is cool. Like this one here, you could probably stab paper with this. As far as like her outfit goes, really cool as well. Kind of the same as the other characters. The only difference between her and the other ones is that she does not have the like sleeves here. And also the way they look, it looks like these are like shoulder pads, but they're supposed to be connected to their unitard. So I think you can't really translate that well. If I show you the manga here, you can't really see it because it's covered here, but yeah, like you see here on the back, the sort of shoulder pad looking things are actually part of her suit. So But on the figure, it looks like two separate pieces because the way they do that for the articulation. But if you look at the manga here, this one doesn't have it either. But if you look at this little like smaller drawing of her on the back, it looks cute here. You can see she has these keys hanging from like on her skirt here, whereas on the figure she doesn't have it. She does have these in the anime as well, but not on the figure, which is a little disappointing that she doesn't have that. As far as the ribbon, it's like this metallic chocolate kind of brown color, which looks really cool. This super metallic red, like a like jewel on her ribbon, looks really cool. Looks really, really nice kind of color. On the back, she has the little flap collar thing here from the sailor uniform that goes to the front here. And one thing we notice here, if we move Venus's head out of the way, you can see Venus has like a single white stripe or white line going on the back and on the front of her suit, whereas Pluto doesn't have that line. Actually, none of the outer Senshi, which is basically like the outside planets like Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Saturn, they don't have a line here on their collar thing of the uniform. This one also is like the chocolate, like a metallic chocolate color, which looks really cool. Metallic looking skirt here, which in the anime, I mean, you can't really have, but metallic colors look metallic, but this, when they originally released these figures, they made them slightly metallic, which is not how they look in the show. You can see the boots are a little metallic looking, her gloves are not, but the skirt looks kind of metallic. I wish it was more flat, like her collar thing here, or like the elbow pads. Speaking of elbow pads, these are not elbow pads, they're just the part where the glove, like, sticks onto her wrist, which is really cool. Very nice white paint. Another thing is these Sailor Moon figures, they don't have any wash. The only part that they have wash is like in the hair, and the hair is completely matte, which looks great. They don't really have any wash to them, but also they don't need like what are you gonna put wash on? Like the ribbon, the body, there's not much you could do. Like you could do cell shading, which I don't think would look too good, but the paint they do have is extremely clean and extremely crisp here, which is really good. You can see how cleanly they painted these lines on her boots. So she does have the same kind of boots as Sailor Moon. The only difference between her boots and Sailor Moon's is that Sailor Moon has like a little tiny crescent moon on the top of the cuff right here, whereas Pluto here, she has a bit of a weird knee. You can see the knee doesn't bend where she doesn't have the crescent moon. She just has like a plain white line going across, which looks really cool, really nice. Heels are on the end. Actually, again, comparing her to Venus, Venus has more flat. She still does have a heel, but it's more flat compared to Pluto's, which is much more pronounced heel. Which I kind of like that their shoes aren't all the same. They're also a little bit different. Like Sailor Moon does have heels as well, but they're a lot more flat and less pointy, like this one is here. Overall, I think this figure looks great. The paint apps are amazing on this. Also, one thing here, like I said, she doesn't have the like shoulder pad, whatever the thing is called here on the costume. She just has exposed arms, and because of that, they actually painted on the armpit here. You can see underneath here. We zoom in, you can actually see it's almost impossible to tell on the camera, but it is slightly sculpted differently. So it's not just sitting there flat. It actually is sculpted outwards a little bit, which is really cool looking. The hair is a bit glossy on her, but it also has to do with the plastic they used, which that is my biggest issue with this figure. Pretty much the only complaint. Like I said, it broke and I had to do some modification here to actually put it on. As a whole though, and I did paint it, and the paint just comes off on this because of the way you have to remove the hair to like modify or do stuff with it. And my problem with this figure is it looks messy. Don't look at that. It's just the problem is that it's one solid piece of plastic. It's not even like flexible bendy. It's like hard, like a chunk plastic. Like this plastic here, it's not gummy, but it is a little bit more kind of flexible, a little squishier. Whereas this is just a hard chunk of plastic. It's kind of like this material, which kind of makes sense. Like if they made this super high quality plastic like the rest of this figure, it would definitely weigh down a lot and drag her head down just standing up normally. And like Venus here, her hair is a little bendable, a little flexible here, like on the tips of it. But I wish they would have done something like this with Pluto's hair. Give her some articulation like this in the hair. Because their hair, it looks pretty much the same, like the main part going down here. It's just her hair is significantly bigger. Like look how much bigger her hairpiece is. So if they'd have given her these little, like kind of wings in her hair to spread their hair out, that would have been cool. Like if they gave her like bendy wire in the hair, if they would have done something to make this not just be one static piece of plastic, which that's my only issue with this figure. And it only ever happens with Pluto, because Pluto's the only character with this much hair. Like you can see Venus has long hair, but Pluto's is significantly longer. And also I like this height difference. I might not have said it, but the height difference is really accurate to the show because she does tower over most of the characters. But yeah, the hair is just I wish her hair had more flexibility or something, you know, because you can have it posed outwards like this, but it still looks like the same shape. Like, it still has the curvature of her body, like the curvature of, like, her butt, I guess, and her back. It does have the curvature still, which I don't know, I wish you could bend the hair or pose it around or something, you know? I think it looks really good. Everything else on this figure is perfect and spot on to the show, except the metallic skirt. But also, they did it on purpose. They kind of gave them more metallic looking appearances instead of everything being just flat and matte like it is in the in the show. Like I said, you can't really have matte looking stuff, but you know what I mean, though. I think the staff is cool as well. This part is, I'm scared these pins are going to break. So most times when I do put the weapon in their hand, I just squeeze the hand over top. And also, like I said, the keys that she has on her belt or on her like on a waistband kind of thing. I actually have a key similar to that. Like you can see, I mean, it doesn't look like this one, but the key she has on her waist looks a little bit like these keys, which I don't remember how I got these keys, but I put them here because I thought it looks like Sailor Pluto's keys, so I kept them on here, which, you know, looks really cool. But either way, let's take a look at her articulation. So her hair, like I said, poses around. So when I move it now, because it's broken, I actually have to take the hair off and then pose it and then push it back down. The original one did have a ball joint, which the ball joint basically did this. I'm not even kidding. It basically did this and rotated. So it was a ball joint, but it was barely a ball joint. It barely moved, you know. But other than that, she can't look up because the hair blocks it. She can look all the way down. You can tilt side to side. She can rotate all the way around, but the hair kind of blocks a little bit. The arms go up about 90 degrees. She does have like a ball jointed arm, so it's basically like a butterfly joint. Really good movement here. She also has a rotation in the bicep. All the characters have rotations here in their bicep, except not all of them work as efficiently, so they did improve that on this figure. You get a single bend in the elbow, which I wish you could bend in more. You get a ball joint hand, which has rotation, a hinge, pivot, and stuff. It's really cool. You have a ball jointed upper torso, which offers some decent movement. Actually, pretty good movement back. Not as good forward, but, you know, still pretty good. She does have a ball joint here in the waist, which doesn't offer as much movement because the skirt kind of covers it. You can see the way they sculpted it. The plastic actually gets blocked here, so when you move it, the skirt or the pelvic joint kind of blocks the skirt here. She does have a drop down hips, which, you know, drop down hips. If you kick her leg forward, it kicks out that high with drop down. Without the drop down hips, the drop down hips actually do help a bit, but when you kick them like doing the splits, they don't really make a big difference here. You get a single bend in the elbow or bend in the knee, which is really good, almost on par with like a double bend. Then you get a rotation, you get a pivot, you get a good movement here in the ankle. Very good ankle pivot and stuff. Really, really cool. Like I said, the only issues with it is the slight metallic skirt and then the hair being kind of dumb. They totally could have given her like bendy wire hair or something a little bit more that makes it, a little bit better. But either way, I still think it's great the way it looks. Visually, it looks nearly perfect to the show. Really pretty as well. I wish she had more facial expressions, but other than that, I really like this figure. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, either way, that's all for this video. Let me know what you think about this figure. Let me know if you even know who Sailor Pluto is, and I will see you guys in the next review. Wow.